Hey everybody, welcome back to COVID is Making Me Crazy 2020. Today we're going to be talking about grief. So I want to touch base on grief, and not just the grief of possibly knowing someone that has COVID or that has passed due to COVID, because I think when we think of grief, that is naturally the first thing that comes to mind is when someone is dying or has passed. Then we experience grief. But grief is a part of life in so many more ways than just that situation. So I think there's really a lot of people grieving right now for other things. Lots of things have been canceled in life. Weddings, surgeries, graduations, prom, outdoor school, concerts, vacations, anniversaries. There's a lot of things not happening that people have been planning and waiting for. And when things like that happen, you go through the stages of grief. Even just grief for, not having the normalcy of life right now. A lot of people have lost their jobs. There's just so much going on. And, I think a lot of that's going on is the stages of grief, and people may or may not realize that. And maybe it would be comforting to kind of understand what's going on with how you're reacting to things. So anyways, that's my hope with today's post. I do want to make it very clear, first of all, that I am not in any way saying that your wedding getting canceled or a trip getting canceled compares to losing the loss of a loved one. Not at all. I'm just putting it out there that people are grieving for other things on top of that, maybe also, and that's okay. We're all okay all the time to have feelings, any feelings. Don't feel bad if, you're a senior and you're supposed to be graduating this year and maybe that's not going to happen now. What does that mean? You're allowed to have those feelings. I think people struggle with, how can I feel bad about such a small thing in the realm of life when there are people actually dying? And that right there just proves that you're human, if you're even considering it. But also embrace your feelings. They are valid. Like, you're validated. You're okay to feel like that, even though people are losing their life. So just wanted to put that out there. So we were introduced to the Kubler-Ross stage model in 1969. It was created by a psychiatrist named Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And the 5 stages of grief through this model are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Not everyone will experience all parts of the grieving process, and they won't always be in the same order. It's very individualized. I would say that for me at this point, I've gone through at least 3 of the stages. I definitely was in denial for a little bit that we would be this affected by it. And actually, I feel like sometimes I'm still in a little bit of denial. There's a lot of future plans that are about to get canceled, and, things that already have. And so there's still a little bit of denial and hoping that, maybe this will be the last month of this and we can slowly get back to normal in May. So definitely denial happening. Anger, 100%. I've had a lot of anger. I shouldn't say I've had a lot of anger, because that's not necessarily true. I don't harbor a lot of anger feelings, but I could definitely see glimpses of that. I get frustrated a little easier, which I think is part of anger coming through. I have not experienced bargaining. I don't know if I really ever have when I've dealt with other grieving situations. To me, it feels like bargaining is more done by people that are religious, you know, and I don't pray or practice praying in my normal day life, so I'm not sure I really do a lot of bargaining. But depression, a lot of depression, and it comes in waves for me. I know my last post was basically just about how I spent a day being super depressed, and really since then I have felt better, and I haven't been experiencing a lot of depression, but it's really easy to be depressed right now. There's so much going on, and it's just even too much to handle. You know, there's a lot of feeling of being overwhelmed, and you know, I am child free. I'm a stepmom, but my child is in college and he is not currently home. He's still on campus. But man, I think about my friends with kids just all day. Every day I'm trying to think of ways I can help them remotely. You know, like if this wasn't going on and I could just go and help them, it would be so much easier. But you know, doing things remote is a little bit harder. But I think there's a lot of overwhelmed parents in the world right now. And with feeling overwhelmed often comes depression. And acceptance is, you know, what I'm working on every day. Just accepting what it is, figuring out the good that's come from it or that will come from it. And, you know, just realizing that it just is what it is. There is nothing I can do to make it stop besides do my part and practice social distancing. And so the acceptance is like the final goal. And I think I'm getting close to it. I've had a good couple of days. So hopefully that continues. I wanted to do the final little part of this outside because it's just a beautiful day. And the weather really helps keep your spirits up, I think. It does for me anyways. When it's nice out, it's easier to feel happy. So, anyways, I'm gonna put 2 different articles in the next slide that have information on grief and grieving and, you know, techniques during this time. And one of them talks about different types of grief. The first one is one my therapist actually sent me. She thought would be a good read for me. And then the second one is another one I found. So they're both really good reads if you just want to take some time to read about them. They're pretty quick. So anyways, I hope you're all taking care of yourselves, and see you next time.